late night run. I was able to get some extra overtime hours today. Hard to turn down. So this is an interesting run. Definitely feeling the awesome Christmas diet and dinners, all the sweets. Don't regret one bit of it. It's just time to run right now, that's all. So this is a 6-mile easy run. The course I've got logged in right now is 7.8. There are no intervals, no strides or anything like that. And so I'm kind of feeling it. I might just go for the extra 1.8 miles on top of the 6. My last workout didn't do on the virtual running or live. I got to go to the Y, which has an indoor track, which is on the second floor surrounding the basketball courts. And it just felt so good. Really, really strong run. And then the intervals that I did towards the end, I ended up doubling, so I did 8 instead of just 4. And I think I ran faster than I practiced my intervals here on the treadmill. Very, very strong. That was this past Saturday I did that. So right now I'm 3 days out, so that was 3 days of recovery. Which wouldn't have been enough recovery, honestly, unless this run was actually easy. If it had sprints or something in there, I would think I'd be overcooking a little bit. Yeah, but last week successfully finished a 24 mile week. This time I think I'm going into the 25-30 range, probably the upper end of the spectrum. And then once the just base miles kind of levels out a little bit and doesn't increase, then that's when I start planning on introducing some of the other sports and strength a little bit. So between biking and weights. Still holding off on the swimming for the time being. 1/7 of the way there. For anyone who might be joining, live or in retrospect, I almost think it's a disadvantage in one sense, because the titles of these videos are very clear about what the exact goal for the run is. But unless you see the actual training plan, you don't exactly know what the schedule or goals of the runs are. So right now, currently in an anaerobic building phase for just increasing the number of miles per week run. But the runs aren't completely static, even though this one is. The plan started out with just 3 runs. The second week, it's developed into 4. And 3 of them, I believe, do have a little bit of variety in intervals, even though they're not extreme, since already increasing the number of miles is a stressor on the body. So it's not good to do 2 stressors or too many things at the same time between miles run distance and then intervals speed. I think what this particular plan from Higher Running is doing is keeping the balance the same from week to week. The balance between overall miles and percentage of speed work. And I'm glad for the speed work, even though it's just a little bit. Because otherwise I wouldn't feel as comfortable as I am now running at a half a mile per hour faster than the last time I did just a easy distance run. So my goals for this year are fairly exciting, I think. First of all, the race I'm training for, USA Triathlon Nationals, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Olympic distance triathlon. This is the second time I qualified for it, but the first time I'll actually be able to participate, just because of schedules and jobs and all that. So that's definitely the A race, the ultimate the ultimate modifier of my training plan, and the blocks leading up to it, training blocks. Right now, really just warming up into the training season, getting these base running miles in. But the run is my particular focus for this training year. Because up to this point, I've been stretching the distances, growing in endurance, but also not running very fast. That's all subjective. But also coming out of a year where I pushed the envelope to my personal limits as far as weekly training load I could sustain. Two miles into this run out of 7.8. It's the first time I'm doing this particular, I think it's Barcelona course. just remembering a run I did literally a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks now, the Javornik run, which is a run I believe in Austria through this Rouvy virtual training software. And for me, that particular course is kind of a reference for me, albeit virtual. And when I just wanted to kind of just get a time for completing the course, it's kind of cool to already see some of this progress, because I was stopping and walking in between even that. Trying to push above 6 miles an hour and just having a harder time. But right now, I feel fairly comfortable from a giving up standpoint. Well, one of the things I'm kind of aware of now, and I mention it because having an awareness of your muscles, your legs, training and fatigue levels, effort levels is important. On the one hand, I can really feel some of the benefits of this, of the intervals I've been doing. With every step, I can kind of feel like there's a strength in the toes right now to kind of push off, and in the front of the knee. But then on the other hand, I can feel it at the same time, which is weird. A little bit of fatigue there in this exact same muscles. So I think it's important right now just to maintain the pace, keep it easy, keep the cadence up. Try to run right now with the cadence and strength that I did at the beginning of this run. And the idea with these live runs for anyone who might be participating is that you don't have to feel like you have to match the speed or the distance. But if you can match the time, that's cool. And if you can match the perceived efforts, that's cool. And when doing intervals, which isn't this run, you can match again the effort levels and duration. That's awesome. As long as you're consistent with yourself, that's what's important. So a lot of my training the plans I'm choosing are geared towards the 6.1 mile run, what's going to start happening in just a matter of weeks is I'm going to be matching my weekly training load essentially with the weekly training load I sustained in Ironman training. But with the exception of the long sessions on the bike and the run, which ended up being about, towards the end of the season, a 3.5-hour run, 5 and later 6-hour bikes. Just gonna be breaking up those sessions once they come. Same time, same load, but with a chance to breathe and recover in between. There's one particular run I remember well from last year. As soon as the spring weather became warm enough to run outside, even when dark came, and the temperatures cooled off even more, that was a time when I had to do a lot of night running just because of my work schedule. And that particular run, I started around 9-10 p.m. just like I am now. But I was super committed to my 2 workouts a day and not letting up for what was essentially a straight 8 months. 10 months of training, 8 straight months, and 2 months that towards the end that was just hard to maintain. But that particular run, the goals were durations of time. And so I was working up from earlier in the season, maybe a 210 hours of running. And then what this one session I remember was, I think like 3 hours even. With a specific effort, exertion. And I remember being really surprised. First of all, it was very consistent weekly build-up. But what I was surprised about was I ran 21 miles in the span of 3 hours. Which to me didn't make sense, considering my PB marathon time. And I felt really, really strong at the end of that run. And I remember thinking to myself that in that just training session, I could have beaten my marathon time if I had decided to go the extra 6 miles. So just from that example, I mean, kind of taking that to heart as far as how to plan my upcoming training, focusing on time and exertion levels rather than distance and records. Because just looking back, if I had actually run that marathon in a training session just to break a PB, I wouldn't have done the same thing at the actual marathon I did for fun, where I made a 350 even. But I'm excited for this year because the overall sense I get is there's a lot of strength that I built up the past season, And towards the end, I felt like there was a lot that was still unlocked. So I'm excited to kind of unlock it and start to develop and literally run into that direction. Develop the speed, the tempo speeds that I can maintain over goal distances. Develop strength and efficiency at what is compared to previous distances and races very short. I'm already trying to psych myself up for the extended distance. Try to get a handle on that cadence again. Starting to fall really low. So the ankles definitely felt a little bit stronger at the beginning of this run. But then they're also carrying an extra, essentially 8 pounds right now, which I heard that if you really want to be honest about the impact force, every pound should be multiplied by 4. So it's an extra 32 pounds of impact per foot strike. So I'll just keep that in mind mentally. And just see if I can hold what I'm doing. On the other hand, I'm running with a lot more food than I usually do, which means super readily available calories to burn. Which compared to most of my recent runs have been very carbohydrate deprived. So that might account for some of this consistency. A lot of things to keep in mind, checks and balances. And just not the time to get frustrated with paces. What is slow, what is fast, what is good, what is not good. It's just good to be doing this right now and helping the training, so it's a win-win. That's a good song. The tempo of the song was right in line with the cadence I've been trying to sustain. So much of running form is tied to your cadence. When you get close to what is the objective or average optimal cadence, about 175, 180. Your body naturally uses the most efficient and optimized foot strike, stride, all those types of muscular details. Even keeping in mind your side to side sway and all that kind of stuff. looking at the altitude chart of this course, and it's super flat. Kind of interesting. Could definitely be a good reference course. If I'm just hoping to kind of get a speed gauge or kind of a gauge of the current fitness level. I'll keep it in mind, but the Javornik course is really my current reference. I just feel like every time I run it, I'm falling short just because the video shows a whole bunch of altitude fluctuation, and so far I haven't been doing any of that. Just a 5K left to this run. .8 miles remaining. Just a run in the park. There's definitely the possibility of just running to the prescribed plan at 6 miles. That's definitely a good place to stop. But I'm really just feeling the distance, so. Burn off some of that Christmas food, as well as all that caffeine I drank today at work. Really gotta burn that out. been in a rhythm with this cadence and this tempo of the song for a while now. Definitely kind of cool. Just by the way everything feels right now, I'm gonna guess my heart rate is just about the same. 164. I feel pretty comfortable today stretching the pace, or no, sorry, stretching the distance. So I got 2 days recovery after this. All right, it's 0.15 miles towards successfully achieving the goal of this run, the target of 6 miles. But I'm two miles away from my personal goal for this run. I just like exploring these new virtual courses on Rouvy. This particular course, the Barcelona course, I think was the first Rouvy run I tried. Maybe a month ago, and at that time didn't complete it, so just a little extra incentive to complete it this time. .87 miles remaining. If you're going by time, it's going to be about between 17 and 18 minutes. Actually, maybe between 19 and 20 minutes. Just barely, like on the 19 threshold. One and a half miles. Six laps around a 400-meter track. So a little bit over that 6.1 mile benchmark run, which is a 10K. So running past it for training purposes. Slower but extended. Slower than the goal time for completing that 6.1. Which hopefully at the peak this summer will be an easy training run of 36 minutes or a race. All out killer tempo. Trying to reach 32. So my current training, the intervals and strides I do during my runs, current runs, are at just above 5-minute pace per mile. Which, let's say, in a tempo run during the summer, I'm trying to achieve a 36-minute 10K, 6.1 miles. Adds up to just about 6-minute mile. So it's a minute slower. So I'm already starting to keep in mind some of those specifics of the training, targeting those paces and working into some of those weaknesses that will have to become strengths. Which right now, a big weakness is just tempo pace. Not very impressive. .25 miles left. So 5 laps around this 400-meter track. I'm going to try to keep in mind it's still a considerable amount to run. So I'm going to try to keep my form on point. That's almost a mental training in itself, which is going to lend itself to strong running, and good running, fast running, which should always, especially during training, emphasize form. Barcelona. One mile left, 4 laps around a 400-meter track. This would be a very satisfying time to push the pace towards something that's would be unsustainable, but for just a mile, sustainable or survivable. But that's not the goal of this run. The goal of this run is just to run easy, good form, not get hurt, create just the overall capacity of the muscles, bones, body overall, lungs, circulation system, just to absorb the training. Running easy develops more mitochondria in the muscles. Mitochondria are responsible for burning energy in your muscles, creating movement. And so, slower, easy runs create a larger quantity of those mitochondria in the muscle. And then speed work develops the capacity, enlarges the capacity to burn of every single mitochondria, but it does not increase the quantity of those cells. So it's one of the reasons some people swear by the 80-20 method. 80% easy, zone 2, 20% of your training duration at those challenging and very high speeds, which force your body to actually develop or die. So even from that subsequent conversation, you can kind of see that if you apply something that resembles an 80-20 training plan, you're avoiding a plateau where you might be able to run further or maintain speed, muscle, and all of that, but you're not developing, you're not growing stronger. You're not getting more mitochondria. You're not challenging yourself. But then just from like an experiential point of view, doing something like an 80-20, especially those 20% sessions, is miserable. Because of two reasons. The first is that everything you've been doing is so easy that you just kind of get sluggish, just want to sleep, do anything except your workout. It kind of means you're healthy, so it's a good sign. And I forgot what point number 2 is. Well, less than a half mile out. Less than 2 laps around a 400-meter track. Try to keep that form integral. Bring that cadence back up to at least 160. Drive those arms. Deep elbows, I don't know how else to describe it. You're almost driving your elbows into the ground, pulling your shoulders with it. But it makes for a more forceful arm swing. And a higher chest. And if you can focus on keeping your head up high. And then pull those knees in front of you. Rather than pushing off. It's like riding a bike with clipless pedals. You're able to take advantage of the upstroke in addition to the downstroke. Not much further. Less than a quarter mile left. Keep that form up. Cadence up. Posture. yards. Thank you for joining, either in retrospect or live. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to join in the workouts or just run. Special thanks to Rouvy Running. I really hope they continue to develop their software. It's awesome. I'd love to see the ability to create events or races that people can participate in, or even just workouts, chill runs.